This is a special report from WDHN News.
Good morning, Ben Stanfield with you here live from the WDHN News studios in Dothan this morning. We will be preempting the majority of the view today to show you the return home of Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson, who was killed in that shooting last Friday at Naval Air Station Pensacola in the active shooter situation there. So what we will be doing this morning is showing you the processional, which will start at the Dothan Regional Airport and make its way towards Enterprise. We'll be with you from 10 to 11 here on television. We'll also be with you on our streaming sites as well, dothanfirst.com, or you can download the WDHN News app and watch us there, and we'll be also live on our Facebook page. So we want to thank you for being with us today. It's a very special day for the community, really for all the wrong reasons though, as his body is returned from Dover Air Force Base near Washington, D.C., where he will be returning to Dothan for proper burial and funeral services. Let's take a live look at the airport right now. The hearse standing by Searcy Funeral Home is in charge of the arrangements from Enterprise from that area. Tanya Pruitt is standing by out here as well. We're going to talk to her in just a moment, but I want to kind of give you a play-by-play of what to expect here. We have folks set up all along this route from Dothan to Enterprise this morning, as the funeral processional will be led by police escort, Enterprise Police leading the way. We understand that Dothan police officers will be involved. Dale County Sheriff's Office will be involved with this processional as well. We had understood that Ozark would be involved as well, and we assume, we don't know what their status will be at this point. In case you have missed that news as well, you can catch up on that online. Ozark had a police officer that was shot in the line of duty last night, overnight, in around the 10 o'clock hour, and is in pretty serious condition at the Dothan Southeast Health Hospital this morning. There is the plane carrying Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson's body. It has just touched down at Dothan Regional Airport this morning, and he will be offloaded from that plane, at which point the family will get a few minutes to approach the flag-draped casket and spend a moment there, and with his remains as they have made their way back home, and then the casket will be loaded into that Cadillac hearse. If we have Tanya Pruitt ready, let's check in with her momentarily before we get to this point, if she's ready to talk with us about what's going on at the airport this morning. Let's go to Tanya as soon as she's ready to go here.
Is she ready to go?
That's right, Ben. We're here at the Dothan Regional Airport here on the tarmac, where dozens of people have come to pay their respects to fallen U.S. Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson. Right now, his body is just being flown in from Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. And I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what's going on here. There's lots of law enforcement presence here, including the Alabama State Troopers, a lot of military personnel, as well as Enterprise Mayor Bill Cooper and Dothan Mayor Mark Sliva and his wife. EPD, DPD. Now, I was told we don't have a whole lot of details at this point, but Dothan Police Department did tell me that the viewing is going to be held tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. Funeral arrangements are being taken care of by Searcy Funeral Home, and then the funeral will be held sometime on Sunday. And again, Joshua had recently graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, and he was looked forward to a long career, military career, and had aspirations to become a pilot. Again, he was just 23 years old, Enterprise native, when his life was cut senselessly short last Friday at Pensacola by a shooter there. Joshua Caleb Watson has been nationally recognized for his heroic efforts After Watson had been shot multiple times, it's noteworthy to mention that he managed to tell first responders where the active shooter was located before he died, which surely helped to save countless lives by taking his own. Joshua's father, Benjamin, told the Associated Press that the family was preparing to visit Joshua in Pensacola the very next day, last Saturday, when he was shot and killed last Friday morning.
All right, and thank you to Tanya Pruitt, who is live. We'll check back in with Tanya momentarily. We want to stay with that image there at the airport, though, of the plane, which has just touched down at Dothan Regional Airport from Dover Air Force Base, like Tanya Pruitt mentioned, of our Wake Up Wiregrass anchor. And so what will happen here is the body will be offloaded from the plane, full naval honors this morning, and then will be moved, transferred to that hearse. But at a point in between, the body will rest on the tarmac, undoubtedly just outside of this plane here, at which point the family will get an opportunity to approach and spend some time with their son, their brother, Joshua Caleb Watson. He's a young man who has been very revered throughout the community. Many have called us and spoken out about the life that he lived, and just what an inspiration he was to so many this morning as we welcome him back home to the Wiregrass. And so we're going to take you through this entire process from Dothan to Enterprise. We'll be live with you from 10 to 11, at which point, when we hit the 11 o'clock hour, I do want to give you a programming note. We will be strictly on our digital platforms from 11 a.m. on. So if you are with us this morning and would like to stay with us through that point, you can either watch us on the app on dothanfirst.com or on our Facebook page as well. So here's a little bit of our setup today. We have Tanya Pruitt live at Dothan Regional Airport. She is with photographers Blake DeShazo and Dustin Gilley, at which point, when the body departs from Dothan Regional and goes through the processional, they'll leave out the main entrance of the airport and make their way to Highway 134. And on Highway 134, they will cross from Dothan into the Daleville, Midland City. They'll go through Newton into Daleville, and then they will turn south on Daleville Avenue until they reach U.S. Highway 84. When they reach Highway 84, they'll drive right into Enterprise and go downtown past the Boll Weevil Monument through that area. They'll pass Enterprise High School, which means so much to the Watson family because of what Joshua was able to accomplish as a student at Enterprise High School. And so they'll go right through that area as well, and then take a right on Boll Weevil Circle back up to Searcy Funeral Home, which is located at the intersection of Highway 167. So along the route today, we will have, like I mentioned a moment ago, photographers Dustin Gilley and Blake DeShazo will be in the processional itself. So what you will see coming up is one of our vehicles is in the back of the processional today and in the line. So you'll see what the family sees, and what we're hoping is for powerful images of flags, you know, just up and down the roadways throughout the area. When Lance Corporal Jason Barfield, who was a Marine, was killed overseas and he was brought back home, the sights, the scenes were, quite frankly, unbelievable. It was a situation where if you watched the video that day, the hair on your arms would literally stand up with the patriotism and respect that the Wiregrass showed for Lance Corporal Jason Barfield. We do know that his family will be along this route today, draping flags for Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson along the route as well. So it's a very deep and personal situation for so many here on the home front, here in the Wiregrass, and that's it's just a military community here, of course, with Fort Rucker nearby as well, and such a strong love for the military and patriotism here in the Wiregrass. So along this route, and I tell you what, let's take a look out at the airport while we talk about what we'll be doing this morning. Along this route in Midland City, Brantley Weatherford will be stationed in that area at the 231 overpass as the processional makes its way through that area. Donna Williams will be out in Newton as the processional makes its way through there. So you'll see shots of Midland City, Newton this morning. Paige Weeks will be in Daleville, along with another photographer from our staff, Matt Ray. He will also be in Daleville as the door is opening now on this plane. In Enterprise, Mike Gerspan will have our coverage from Searcy Funeral Home as the processional and the body of Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson arrives at the funeral home facility in Enterprise. So Mike will have our coverage there and will join us. And we're just going to kind of watch and see what happens here. This is a very unique situation, one that we don't want to see, but we're here. And so the pomp and circumstance of the Navy and how they do things, and just the immense respect that they will show to this family today will be on display here as this body is taken off of this airplane and then loaded into that Cadillac hearse in just a few moments. So we want to thank you for being with us today. We are here for the entire hour from 10 to 11 a.m. If you do need to go at some point and to a different destination, you can take us with you on your phone, on the app. We're also on Facebook Live right now as well, and so we want to thank everyone for being with us as we pay our respects and tribute to Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson this morning as well. So the casket will be offloaded here shortly. And once again, we mentioned that the family will have an opportunity to go up and spend a few moments with their son, their brother. All right, so that casket will be, like we said, offloaded here in just a moment as they prepare for that. Tanya Pruitt from Wake Up Wiregrass is standing by at the airport this morning, and we will try and talk to her again in just a moment before this process takes place. And Tanya will kind of tell us a little bit about what she sees at the airport, give us a different vantage point. She's been able to see who all is at the airport right now at Dothan Regional Airport, as well as what the family status is today as well. And so the family has asked for privacy in this time, so we have not reached out to them to try and talk with them as they go through this grieving process. We have, obviously we'll be giving them their space. And our cameras are well off to the side of this aircraft, so we're out of the way. But we did feel it was important, as well as the family, to show the Wiregrass what would take place today as an American hero returns home for burial. If we have Tanya ready, let's go back out to her in just a moment. Tanya will join us in just a moment at the airport and give us kind of an update, just a little bit of a description of what's happening out there at this time. This is something a lot of us are seeing for the first time, especially with such a strong Army ties in this community, with a Navy sailor coming back home. This will be an interesting thing to see for all of us today. Tanya's ready. Let's go back to Tanya and let her just kind of describe the scene for us.
Ben, it's just a very somber scene out here, as many people, military personnel, several city officials, including Dothan City Mayor and Mark Saliba and his wife, along with Bill Cooper, who's Enterprise Mayor, is here. Lots of people from the Navy, and Joshua was just, I'm going to step out of the way. He was just flown in from Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. And on the way in, I'll just try to paint the picture if I can. There was lots of cars and people with flags on their vehicle flying on the way, lining the way up to the Dothan Regional Airport this morning as we were coming in. And it's just a very somber time right now, as people are just pausing and to remember the life of Joshua Caleb Watson.
All right, thank you, Tanya, for that update from the airport. Again, Tanya and some of our photographers on staff here at WDHN are at the airport right now, and they will stay with the processional from Dothan to Enterprise. Once we get to Enterprise, Mike Gerspan will take over our on-the-ground coverage. He will join us potentially in about an hour or so. We didn't expect this to be a quick process at the airport, and potentially the processional will potentially get moving at some point in the next 20 minutes or so. And honestly, it just depends on the family and the time they spend with their brother, their son, Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson this morning. So they'll have a few moments there on the tarmac as well. So again, we have plans to take you all the way through this processional this morning from Dothan to Enterprise. And it was good to hear that Tanya said that the roadways are already lined with a lot of people in that area with flags on the side of the roadway. And this is where the Wiregrass is at its best, at stuff like this, showing respect to an American hero. If you go back through this shooting scene, this tragic situation that happened in Pensacola, the loss of life at Naval Air Station Pensacola, Joshua Caleb Watson was the hero. He was shot 5 times. And in that process, as he ran towards the gunman to save lives, he was also able to get away and alert others, first responders, to where that shooter was in that building. And they were able to take the shooter out because of this young man's actions right here. And this morning, as his casket is wheeled off of that airplane, he is welcomed home as an American hero. Let's watch for a moment.
Bears, forward, march. Bears, up. Left, right. Forward, march. Bears, up. Right, right. Forward, march. Center, face. Down, slow. Up, slow. Face, feet. Face. Forward, march. Marta, march. They will pay. Forward, march. Oh. Center, right. Left. Center, casket. Face. Forward, march. Bears, halt. About face. Head, salute. Ready, two. Left, face. Forward, march.
And that may be one of the most powerful images of the day as his Navy brothers and sisters salute Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson upon his return home as his body was loaded into that Cadillac hearse, which will soon make its way to Enterprise, back to his hometown. Searcy Funeral Home has the arrangements for the funeral service and will carry his body and his family back to Enterprise here. We expect in just a few moments. One thing I was wrong on this morning, I did believe that the family was going to approach the casket there on the tarmac. That actually did not happen, but they will have an opportunity to share time with their son, their brother, at Searcy Funeral Home once they arrive in Enterprise. So we have some movement now where the family will look like they'll approach the hearse. We may be losing our signal there momentarily. We'll wait on that to regroup, but during the process of that movement. Our signal went a little south. So we'll be back at the airport just a moment. So the family will be essentially loading into vehicles, getting ready for that processional coming up in just moments, and we're going to stay with this through the entirety of the process from Dothan to Enterprise. Again, the family at Dothan Regional Airport, and they will be loading up, headed toward Enterprise in just a moment. I want to show you, while we have a moment here, a tribute that we played Monday evening in our 5 p.m. newscast, where the city of Enterprise had such a somber tone earlier in the week and still does today. Well, let's take a look at this. And that was a piece that we ran Monday night in our 5 p.m. newscast. And again, wanted to just share that with you today. We thought those were very powerful images of flags in that young man's hometown, where he's in the process of going to right now in this processional. Again, we'll be showing you portions of the route this morning as Navy Ensign Joshua Caleb Watson's body returns home to Enterprise. We will take a quick break here and return to coverage in just a few moments and show you that processional from Dothan to Enterprise as the Wiregrass comes out today to pay tribute. We'll be right back.